Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin. Check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. And don't forget to check out our Patreon page. We have a lot of great perks over there. The perk that people seem to enjoy the most, of course, is the score prediction contest where we award $20 every single week to whoever gets closest to the actual score of the game that I pick. We also did a championship week. I will award $25 to that winner. And right now is the best time to join Patreon because we are going to do the bowl prediction contest. First place prize will win $50. Second place prize is an autographed Golden Blue flat bill hat. And the third place prize is a shout out. And the more Patreons we get, the higher we can bump up the prize. So if we get up to $300 worth of Patreon pledges, we will bump up the prize to $75. If we get up to $400 worth of Patreon pledges, we'll bump the prize up to $100, and so on and so forth. So there's even an incentive for current Patreon members to encourage other people to join Patreon. That way the prize goes even higher. I'll leave the link to the Patreon page in the description of this video. Every time I make a video about conference realignment, Big Ten specifically, it's always the AAU argument. No, Golden Blue, the Big Ten would never take them because they don't have AAU status. And I understand that. That's what they look at. And the only team that they would accept without AAU status would be Notre Dame. So I got to thinking, what if there was an AAU only conference? Everybody that has AAU status with an FBS football team, that's the other stipulation, created one conference, what would it look like? Well, it actually turned out pretty good. 36 members altogether, so a nice round number. And some of these teams might surprise you. Now, you might already guess that pretty much the entire Big Ten will be on this list, except for one team, and that's Nebraska. Nebraska lost their AAU status, I think it was like 1 or 2 years into their tenure into the Big Ten. So they are not going to be on this list. But this is still a nice looking conference. So let's go through the members of the AAU only conference. Starting at the top, the first member is going to be Minnesota. Of course, they're already a member of the Big Ten. And just for tickles and giggles, I'm also going to list their all-time wins as far as where they rank. So Minnesota is 26th overall with 726 overall wins. The next member of this conference is going to be Northwestern. They're also a member of the Big Ten. They're 86th in total wins with 559 total wins. So I know, so far not impressive. Basically the lower end of the Big Ten. The next member of this conference is going to be Missouri. Yeah, Missouri. They have AAU status. Right now they're a member of the SEC. And they're 33rd in all-time wins with 702 total wins. That's not bad. Next member is going to be Purdue. Of course, they're already in the Big Ten. They're 51st in total wins with 637 wins. This next member might surprise you, and this is going to be Tulane, currently in the AAC. They're 89th in total wins with just 552 total wins. But hey, they did win the AAC, and they are headed to a New Year's Six bowl. So they would actually be a strong member this particular year. The next member would be Rice. This is not good at all. They're a member of Conference USA right now, but they are headed to the AAC, and they're 104th in total wins with 486. But that's not the lowest member. The lowest member is the next member, and that's Buffalo. They're a member of the MAC right now. 116th in total wins with 406 total wins. But it only gets better from here. So there's the bright spot. Next on the list is Rutgers. So not much better, but better. Currently in the Big Ten, they're 42nd all-time in total wins with 666 total wins. Next up on this list is going to be Cal. They're currently in the Pac-12. 36th overall in all-time wins. That kind of surprised me. With 688 total wins. Right behind them is going to be Stanford. They're also in the Pac-12 right now. 41st in total wins with 667. The next member would be Duke. They're currently in the ACC. They're 93rd in total wins. That did not surprise me with 528 total wins. Next on the list is Virginia. They're in the ACC right now. They're 38th in total wins with 682. That's not bad for Virginia. Next on the list, staying in the ACC, Georgia Tech. And they're actually 21st in all-time wins with 749. That one really surprised me right there. The next member to the All-AAU Conference is Vanderbilt. They're in the SEC, and of course, they're a little bit lower in total wins. They're 62nd in all-time wins with 616 total wins. Next up is Colorado out of the Pac-12. 29th in total wins with 719. A little surprising right there, but Colorado has had some success. Next up on this list is Indiana, already in the Big Ten. They're 100th in all-time wins with 503. Not surprising right there. Next up is Arizona out of the Pac-12. 59th in total wins with 623. Next up is going to be Illinois out of the Big Ten, 58th in all-time wins with 627. And then Maryland, also out of the Big Ten, 40th in all-time wins with 668. That one surprised me a little bit. And then Kansas out of the Big 12. Of course, they're going to be lower on this list. 68th in all-time wins with 594. The next member is going to be Wisconsin out of the Big Ten. They're 24th in all-time wins with 734. Next up is North Carolina out of the ACC. They're actually 28th in all-time wins with 721 total wins. And then Michigan State out of the Big Ten. They're 27th in all-time wins with 726 total wins. That one really didn't surprise me. And then Iowa out of the Big Ten. They're 37th in all-time wins with 684. Then Utah out of the Pac-12. They're 32nd in all-time wins with 711 total wins. Utah's a little bit higher than what I was expecting. Out of the Pac-12, but headed into the Big Ten is UCLA. They're just 61st in all-time wins with 622 total wins. Staying in the Pac-12, the next member would be Washington. 18th overall in total wins with 759 total wins. And then Oregon out of the Pac-12, they're 34th all-time with 691 total wins. And then Florida out of the SEC. That one might surprise you a little bit. They are 20th all-time with 754 all-time wins. But yes, Florida does have AAU status, so they would be in this conference. Next up would be Penn State out of the Big Ten. 7th overall in all-time wins with 919 total wins. Next on the list is Texas A&M. That one might surprise you. They're in the SEC. They're 16th in all-time wins with 771 total wins, which, by the way, if you're wondering about West Virginia is 15th all-time in total wins. They have 774, so one notch above Texas A&M. Going back to the ACC, Pitt has AAU status, and they're actually 19th overall in total wins with 757 total wins. Then, of course, Ohio State, they're in the Big Ten already. Number 2 overall in total wins with 953 total wins. And then Michigan right there with them in the Big Ten. They are number 1 in total wins with 989 total wins. And the last 2 members would be USC, who's coming out of the Pac-12, but heading into the Big Ten. 9th overall in total wins, 867 total wins. And finally, Texas. Yes, Texas does have AAU status. Of course, they're coming out of the Big 12, headed into the SEC, and they are 5th all-time in total wins with 936 total wins. That is not a bad-looking conference. That covers coast to coast. Could this actually happen in the future? Yes, it's definitely possible with the conference realignment. And I've heard talks where Texas A&M was interested in the Big Ten. Even Missouri has been interested in the Big Ten. I actually heard from Missouri fans that their first choice was the Big Ten, but the Big Ten didn't want them, so they joined the SEC. So this is very doable. I don't think it's actually going to happen because then there's other teams like Buffalo, Tulane, Rice. I don't think they're ever getting into the Big Ten. But hey, every conference has their stragglers. Just like the SEC has Vanderbilt, and the Big Ten already has Northwestern and Rutgers and Maryland. Pac-12 has Cal and Stanford. Big 12 has had Kansas in the past, although Kansas is doing much better. And of course, the ACC right now, they have Boston College. So there are going to be some stragglers in some of these conferences. But overall, I think it's a well-rounded conference. It's not a bad idea. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I don't think it's a bad idea. So y'all let me know in the comment section. Number 1, how surprising was it to see some of these teams on this list? Number 2, how good of a conference do you think the All-AAU conference would be in college football? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.